All right, how's it going? We got another video here. Nebraska governor declares July Victims of Communism Remembrance Month. So, before we get into that, if you want to help support me or follow me, you can do it on Subscribe Start here, and I'll have the link down in the description. So let's get into this. Governor Pete Ricketts designated July as Victims of Communism Remembrance Month. Last week, the governor hosted a proclamation ceremony featuring Nebraskans familiar with communist oppression, including former state senator Lyda Brash, whose family fled Ukraine to escape Soviet rule. Ricketts' press release stated, an estimated 100 million people died from political purges, religious prosecutions, mass starvations, and other crimes against humanity carried out by communist regimes such as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics (USSR) and the People's Republic of China. And in his remarks, Governor Ricketts reminded Nebraskans of the hundreds of millions of people who continue to live under the communist regimes that curtail freedoms and lack respect for human rights. The Chinese Communist Party, in particular, is holding ethnic Uyghurs in internment camps, violating the religious freedoms of the Chinese people, and quashing political dissident in Hong Kong and elsewhere. So, especially with the Uyghur Muslims in China, they have them, it's almost essentially, they say internment camps here, but it's almost kind of similar to, because you think internment camps, you think maybe the Japanese in America and, during World War II, but some of the reports that are coming out about the Uyghur Muslims is more like, it's like more than a term. I think they're not just like mass, like the actual like Holocaust, like concentration camps, but there are reports that like they're trying to convert them to China's religious views. They may even be like harvesting organs and like castrating the men and trying to convert them to what China feels like they should be. And I guess there's like a big black market because they're like Uyghur Muslims. So I guess there's like certain, like they don't eat bacon and stuff. There's like, is it halal or is that Jewish? It may be halal. Like there's certain foods and stuff they don't eat because of their religion. And apparently there's like a black market of people like harvesting their organs to like high price bidders in say like the Middle East, in very like rich, expensive like Muslim countries in the Middle East. This also is kind of weird too that like Disney itself like filmed the live action Mulan in like parts of China, and like in the credits and stuff they were thanking like the specific area and those, I don't know if you call it like military or police or patrolmen or whatever, they were like thanking them in the credits about that. And like people were like, so Disney's crying about certain things here in the US, but they're like openly supporting like, I don't know if you want to go straight genocide of the Uyghur Muslims, but it's getting kind of close. Then of course with like the communism, they have like what was it, North Korea, like where everything's like horrible and like there's like a lack of resources and people are like starving and stuff, and it kills a lot of people that way through like starvation and not having resources. Because when you have equality for all, usually what it turns into is that there's like a ruling class that takes place, and they hoard a lot of the assets and resources to themselves. There's like the whole thing with the Hong Kong protests that were going on. Was it 2019? I don't know if it's still going on. It was probably still going on in 2020, but like news was like all the BLM burnings and murders they were committing. Last month, Governor Ron DeSantis signed 3 bills mandating that students learn about the evils of communism. If you want to get into the specific bills, you can look it up. The 3 bills that he signed was the House Bill 5, Civic Education Curriculum, the Senate Bill 1108, education, and House Bill 233, post-secondary education. Then if you're curious about that, you can actually look into that and look up the specifics of those. The bill expands our previous efforts in civics to add a requirement for the high school government class that students receive instruction on the evils of communism and totalitarian etiologies. DeSantis commented, "We have a number of people in Florida, particularly southern Florida, who escaped totalitarian regimes, who have escaped communist dictatorships to be able to come to America. We want all students to understand the difference. Why would somebody flee across shark-infested waters, say, leaving from Cuba to come to southern Florida?" DeSantis continued. "Why would somebody leave a place like Vietnam? Why would people leave these countries and risk their life to be able to come here? It's important that students understand that." On social media, Ricketts pointed out that the Chinese Communist Party is presently celebrating its 100th anniversary. So you can look that up if you're curious about it. I mean, it's just kind of what his tweets were earlier talking about it. Indeed, Chinese President Xi Jinping recently donned a Mao-style suit and delivered a speech touting China's plan for military mobilization. "We must accelerate the modernization of national defense and the armed forces. A strong country must have a strong military, as only then can it guarantee the security of a nation. The people's military has made undeniable achievements on behalf of the party and the people. It is a strong pillar for safeguarding our socialist country and preserving national dignity, and a powerful force for protecting peace in our region and beyond. On the journey ahead, we must fully implement the party's thinking on strengthening the military in the new era, as well as our military strategy for the new era, maintaining the party's absolute leadership over the people's armed forces, and follow a Chinese path to military development. We will take comprehensive measures to enhance the political loyalty of the armed forces, to strengthen them through reform and technology and the training of competent personnel, and to run them in accordance with the law." There is, in a Wall Street Journal op-ed published last year, former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe told readers that resisting Beijing's attempt to reshape and dominate the world is the challenge of our generation. Ratcliffe also revealed that China has even conducted human testing on members of the People's Liberation Army in hope of developing soldiers with biologically enhanced capabilities. And there was maybe it's in this one. It was talking about, they're talking about this one here, like Chinese dictator Xi Jinping makes disturbing remarks in speech while new satellite images raise alarm about nuclear capabilities. But it talks about he signaled during a speech this week celebrating the 100-year anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party that the nation intends to take over Taiwan, while a new report simultaneously shows new signs that China may be making significant expansions to their nuclear capabilities. Because that was kind of an issue too. With John Cena had like a thing where he was talking about, maybe it was a movie or something. He just happened to like mention like the word Taiwan, and I think it might have been with there was I can't remember the specific people, but somebody was asking like a Chinese representative about Taiwan. He just acted like he didn't hear the question. Then she asked it again. He's like, "Oh, we'll just move on to the next question." Like they want to like certain people just want to deny that, but it also kind of like they're trying to build up and be powerful and like militaristic, and it's kind of getting to the point where they're wanting to like take over land that isn't theirs, but try to claim that it is theirs. Like them trying to, because Hong Kong is prosperous because it's in China, but it's treated more as a capitalistic area instead of communist area. So that's why it's able to thrive and flourish. Then also there's the issue with Taiwan, them like wanting to, they say it's theirs anyway. It almost feels like Germany in the was it 30s and 40s, where they're like kind of invading Poland, where it's like this kind of this kind of country that's trying to gain a bunch of power, so they like start taking over like neighboring countries. I guess there's the issue with Russia and was it Ukraine? Like these bigger countries trying to like expand their nation and taking over more and more. But there needs to be, because I think this is in response to like a lot of these like kind of, I think it's getting worse more recently in K through 12, but I think it's been a big issue for a while in like the college level about kind of like these people trying to push, you know, like communism and socialism and Marxism, all this stuff, like all these like ideologies that want to like blame capitalism for being like evil or whatever and say communism is the way to go. It's like communism is the way to go. It's like, don't you want everybody to have equal everything? When you think about it, like, no, because nobody, like everybody's not going to work equally. Some people are going to be smarter. Some people are going to be more innovative. Some people are going to work harder. And some people just get like a bad hand in life, and some people get a good hand in life. You can't equalize everything. Because they did that too. Like if you really want to like equal stuff out, because they're wanting like more women to go into like STEM fields. But if they truly want everything to be equal, then what they need to do is either like put more men into nursing and into like teaching jobs, and maybe even like fire certain women. Like, well, maybe not fire, but it may eventually would have to be. But they'd have to like push that. They would start having to hire men and not hire women, and push kind of like gender quotas at that point if they actually want like true equality, which is something they just want to like they want to bring this up and say like we're calling for equality, but they're kind of like cherry picking the things that's like good for them, and they want to like kind of ignore the stuff that's like no, that's not a good thing for me, so we're just going to ignore that. So, but I think this is a pretty good thing. We need more bolstering of American calling out like horrible regimes. But like these liberal colleges, or these colleges have become like you can see like certain people go in and they get like indoctrinated after like their first year for whatever reason. Then somehow they believe at that point like, oh, I'm going to college, I'm learning this stuff. Like, I am the open-minded one. You stupid redneck that works as a welder. I'm like, are you serious? Like, no. I don't know. Like, I don't know why. There's an issue. There's something that somebody brought up before, is like people that go to college that like get out in the workforce. Like, there seems to be a lot of them that like will go to a job and they won't take any initiative. They just like wait to be told what to do instead of like taking initiative. Then also with a lot of these like college professors too, there seems to be a large number of them that have like spent their entire lives in school, K through 12, undergrad 4 years, grad school 2 to 3 years. So like they will graduate with like their masters when they're 25 or something like that. Then immediately will go start teaching as like an adjunct till they become full time. So they can be from like the age of 5 to the age of 65 in the like school system, the public school system, like their entire life, and not like get outside of that and not have to work, you know, a lot of other jobs that like Americans do work, like a lot of logistic jobs and like retail jobs and service jobs and all this other stuff. So they're in like this bubble their entire life and they can't see outside of it. But I don't know. That's kind of what I think. I don't know. You can tell me what you think down below. Like I said, I'm going to be posting this YouTube here. I think I may start switching stuff up because like uploading it natively at this point in time is like taking so much time. So I think what I may do is do it to YouTube. I'll have my backup on BitChute. Then I'll share the links to other sites as well. If it starts to become an issue, if I start getting like striked or whatever, then I can like start uploading natively then at that time. Then also I got this as an audio only version. I'm doing it through Anchor, but it's going on to Spotify and a couple other sites as well. But I think you can like just follow on the subscribe star here too, I believe. But it seems to be YouTube. I'm trying to promote it there because that's like where the most people are at. Then also Facebook. Because I've had somebody ask, because I was doing something with TikTok and they kept like banning videos I was making. It's like, oh, you shouldn't even like try that. I'm like, you have to like go, you have to go to like these main tech sources and kind of like fight the battle there, so to speak. I mean, you may get banned and censored a lot, but like trying to get in there and get it out there because it's like they are like the biggest platforms. You know, the YouTube and the Facebook, and I don't really do anything with Twitter or whatever. But yeah, that's it for tonight. This morning, it's like 3 a.m. So, all right, later.